bro, like, this is just a rant, yeah? Like, what's actually going on in this world? Like, this level of reality is yo. Like, I don't do social media, so I can't even imagine how bad it is, right? But everything is collapsing, bruv. Everything's collapsing. Like, but here's the thing. This is why I'm just ranting. And I'm probably like, anyone that gets it, gets it. If you don't, you don't. That's fine. But let's look at this way, right? There are only like two real possibilities, really. It's either the system, the algorithm, the screen is pumping us propaganda to tell us that society is degenerated and is completely broken down, and then people manifest that because we have the creative power, yeah? Or society is actually broken down. And because society is broken down, more of that information is around, people then project and it manifests. So still a bit more of the first one anyway. And it just creates this vortex of negative energy. Like, I can't believe how bad YouTube is now. It's like, kids can access this, right? They've got YouTube Kids and shit like that. But for the most part, most kids, they'll just go to YouTube normally, right? Because there's still cartoons and all that stuff on normal YouTube. If they wanted everything to be on YouTube Kids, they'll scrub YouTube or of all that child stuff and whack it onto YouTube Kids, and then that's it. And you'd have two websites for it. You'd have normal YouTube, or YouTube has the money, bro. Like, look, it's part of the system. It's easy for YouTube to just have a landing page where it's like YouTube kid or adult, right? Or whatever. Or they could have some sort of verification. I don't know, but they can do it. It's not difficult, is what I'm trying to say, right? If they can manipulate algorithms, like this is chicken change for them, right? Anyway, you go on YouTube and it's just all sorts of crazy stuff. Like, I just saw a video of like a guy crying, right? And all his friends were around him. It doesn't matter. I think if you're emotional, you have to let it out. But if you look at that video in the wider context of what's actually going on in society, if you look at that video in the wider context, you will see what's actually going on. And I have nothing against men being emotional. I'm going to say that again. I think it's actually very healthy and very, like, if because men are not we're supposed to be logical anyway. If you are emotional, you need to essentially get rid of that kind of animalistic energy inside you. And you do that by facing yourself and recognizing that those that traumatized you, or wherever your trauma came from, whether it's your mom, your dad, whatever, just forgive all of that. Just let it all go. And by doing that, you essentially become the most rational, logical version of yourself, because you are logical and rational enough to look at something that has happened to you, yeah, and say, hey, it happened. There's nothing I can do to change it just now. There's no point in me being angry at these people. That's logic, yeah. And you let it go. That's it. That's all you need to do. But people can become overcome with emotions, like maybe, I don't know, birth of a child, or whatever, and that's okay. I don't have anything against it. But my point is, if you look at the wider context of society, right, with the emasculation of men and this whole agenda to, with the feminism and the fucking all the isms, yeah, everything, all the isms, put in this video in that context, you can see what's actually being normalized. And when everyone talks about World War II, I was very fascinated with World War II, but not because of the landings and the that's most people just, I don't know, some people, I don't even know why people reenact the war like it's some sort of like something they take pride in. Is really weird. Like, it's so weird. Imagine, like, my dad went and climbed a mountain. Yeah, so I grew up, and then I get together with my friends, and we all go and replicate that. Okay, so he climbed a mountain. Maybe why don't you go and climb another mountain or something? Or he showed you he's capable and he paved the way. Just go and do something else. You know, don't wear his same clothes and go and stand there and do it. It's stupid. It's actually dumb. It's actually dumb. Like, anyway, that is dumb. Anyway, let's get back to the point. So, with society being broken down, blah blah blah. What was I saying? Oh shit! I lost my train of thought. Give me a second. I normally just freestyle these things. Hold on. Yeah, I was talking about propaganda, right? And then that was a part of World War II that I found really, really fascinating. You know, the propaganda machine, because I always ask myself, how could they rally so many people, you know, behind a cause? You know, how did and that's something that's always fascinated me. Like, how is this screen? Okay, let's come into 3D. Yeah, let's talk about the human level. How are they able to galvanize so many people behind one idea, right? And then because for me, I've never, I evaluate everything myself and subscribe to what I truly think makes sense or I believe in, right? If I don't believe in it, I don't subscribe to it. I will not do it for anybody. If I don't think that that's the right way, I'm not gonna, that's it, period, right? But some people are able to get behind ideas, and it's like when you actually interact with them, you realize that they've not actually thought about these things, you know, in detail. They're just kind of talking. That, or because everybody supports it or whatever it is. And I always used to find how they were able to do that. And I realized that the TV, and that's why, you know, after colonialism and stuff like that, right? I can only use that example because I grew up in Africa. And that's another thing that once I stripped back all the layers, the one thing that was almost kind of very different was people were given wireless radios. You know, everybody had a wireless radio, and people were now being entertained through this box, and people were now getting their news from this box, you know, and it always made me think, okay, so what were people doing before the advent of mass media? People spoke, people were more kind of, you know, they shared information, only valuable information. Yeah, like there's no need to talk unnecessarily and just sharing nonsense for sharing nonsense sake, right? So when you look at YouTube, and okay, so from the wireless radio came the TV, and now we have the phone. It's one linear progression, yeah. If you can't see it, yeah, try I don't know, just try and see it, because the radio came, and not only to the colonial, like the areas where Western people went to. Even that word is so strange, isn't it? Colonize. You go and set up a colony. That's crazy. And then there's that, and even in the domestically in the West, it happened. The same thing was happening all across the board. So it's not, and that's why I always try and emphasize that it's not necessarily like, I always say that if you look at the screen of space, right, the reality, and I know that regardless of us being consciousness and us being here, and you can actually elevate to points where nothing on the screen affects you, but you can also come down to a point where you realize that because people are not living how they want to live as consciousness, there may be something here that's actually causing that. And I always say that thing does not really care what your complexion is. It doesn't really care. It will do it to Brits, it will do it to Africans. It will do it to everybody, you know. So if you think about the wireless, they gave the wireless radio to the Africans and stuff like that. But domestically, the same thing was also happening. And the people were already under the programming and the propaganda. And even if we strip it back and we go further back, domestically in the UK or wherever, if you went back before the radio and stuff like that, people would only share information that was valuable. Entertainment was real entertainment. It had to kind of entertain the whole group. So you had to be that skilled right? You had to be so skilled that your plays or your music or your art or your drumming or your dancing amazed everybody, or your strength or whatever amazed everybody, or a good percentage of everybody. So for me, for us to even have people that are famous that don't do anything, that is a telltale sign that you live in a warped reality. Do you get it? So if we come back to the present moment and we talk about the present day and we talk about YouTube and all the social media and shit like that, right, bro? They have got like the stuff on there so bad. And it's like they're trying to shape what men are supposed to be. They're trying to shape what women are supposed to be. They're causing such a division between men and women, right? And the energies. They're also causing such a and it's almost like there's always something that is here to cause conflict and division. So now it's the manosphere, it's the red pill, is the Andrew Tates, is the feminism, is the people fighting against pro-life, pro-abortion, all these groups just fighting, bickering against each other, right? And then even before this manosphere stuff, we had the BLM thing with George Floyd and shit like that. And then, even let's bring it even closer to the present day. We just had Israel and Gaza, but somehow Christmas happened. Everyone's forgotten about it. Yeah. But Israel and Gaza just literally just happened, right? And it will happen again, because that's how the program works. It's cycle. And then that also, puts people against people, like, oh, these people are this, these people are that. And there's always this thing that's causing division, and people can't see that we're being split all the time, whether it's along race lines or age lines or class lines or socioeconomic backgrounds or fucking earnings or education, all these things. And those separations, right, it's only because people have identities. People identify with these things. Do you understand? If people don't identify with it, there'll be they could never separate us. They literally couldn't. They literally couldn't separate us. They couldn't. Because if I see myself as a human being, an energetic being, that's it. Africans versus obviously that's where I'm from, and I have a human affinity for the place and the people, which is normal. Do you get it? But I also have an affinity for all humans. Like, I'll meet you where I meet you. Do you understand? So it's like, if you approach me negatively, okay, then you're just a negative human being, and that's it. I'm not going to deal with you. And that's fine. That's just normal. If you're cool and you're chill, yeah, of course, I'll meet you exactly at that point. So when we identify with too many of these things, we make ourselves available to the system to fuck with us. If we all learn a basic thing, not to have identities, all these weird identities that we've strapped ourselves around ourselves, right? Where I'm a this or I'm a that. People even identify with the areas they live. Like, people identify with the streets. Oh, I live in right. Like, as if that means anything. Like, because it's like they're trying to get across the fact that they have, it's almost like some value by living there, or some value by saying that they have a this or they have a that. Like, but from a consciousness standpoint, it actually doesn't mean anything. Do you understand? So if you get to that conscious, that point of awareness, none of that stuff will bother you. It will literally not bother you. And you have to realize that if All right, so this is 3D. Yeah, this is the human level. You know, look around you and the way the world is, right? You recognize that's not like humans are not being conscious. That's why we're literally fucking everything up. We're literally fucking everything up. And it's because, and this is the human level, is because when the collective subconscious, the collective mind, the hive mind is not conscious and then it operates like an animal. It operates from the 3D because the macro and the macro are the same. It's a fractal, as above, so below. It's the same thing, and it doesn't matter. Yeah. So if it's one person doing it, it's the whole reality. If it's enough conscious people doing it, let me rephrase. If it's enough conscious, creative energies doing it, everybody will be doing it, and it becomes a hive mind. Do you understand? And that's why I always say that us not being aware allows energies, entities, whatever, to be able to easily control our energy, control us. Bro, there's people like being destroyed, people not like creating it, like literally people are walking in a fog, right? This is what reality is. People are walking in a fog, not aware that like, and they're hungry, yeah? Or they're in need of something. And outside that fog is everything they need and everything they want. It's literally right there. If they literally were just bold enough and brave enough to step outside that fog. But this light that's in front of them, this false light is telling them, no, it's scary out there, scary here, follow this is the path I know. It's fucking with you, man. It's fucking with you. It's not really you. It's not even really you. It's not even, what's the word I'm looking for? It's not going to allow you to be you. It's not going to allow you to see the abundance that's around you. It's not going to allow you to see any of that shit, you know? And when people behave like animals, man, it just destroys the reality, bro. It literally destroys the whole reality because, you know, why would you even need to fight? It's so dumb. It becomes so goofy at that level, you know, and then as people change collectively, and that's why for me, I think the reason why the reality is glitching so much is I think that a lot of people have become consciously aware and it's interfering with the signal that is programming the people in the hive mind to behave like animals. It's causing big interference, and that's why we have all these glitches. Like, and by glitches, I mean you will see, and that's what, you know, I think the Christians were talking about with the end of the world. It's the end of it becomes the end of a cycle, which is a age or whatever. Because then when you peep it, it's like, okay, because of the interference, right? Everything becomes inverted. Everything becomes upside down. So men will become women. Women will become men. It's inversion because there's interference. Something's clash, like, and then because anyway, I can see in my mind. But yeah, due to that, there's that inversion, right? And there's this complete like breakdown of everything that happened before, you know. And now in the churches, like I saw a video of like the profanity, the amount of stuff. Christianity is dead anyway. Christianity is literally dead. Like religion is dead. Like religion is finished. It's finished. In this age that we're going into, religion has no foothold. It's stupid, you know. And I've made videos about it. It's stupid for you as a conscious, energetic being to put your power in anything, like outside of you that you can't verify or prove its existence. It's kind of silly. It's like, yes, I can acknowledge that the sun rises. I can acknowledge that the moon is there. Beyond that, I don't know what. I can see the stars. I can see the clouds. I know there are seasons. I see life all around me. That's all I know. I don't know anything beyond that. I don't know anything beyond that. I don't know anything beyond that. All I know is that inside of me, that same spark that is animating the whole place is also within me, right? So I'm cool. Like, I don't need to now go and bow to some fucking image or go and walk around a rock or, a square 15 times or 100 times, or take a stone and go and throw it at a mountain, in order for me to be connected to that thing that's already in me. It's crazy, guys. Like if those gods were real, right? Why would you put the spark of life in me and then get me to come and worship you just to give, like, what? Just to exist? Like, what the fuck? Like, it's stupid. It's dumb. It's literally dumb. And if you want to see God, look at nature, live as close to how nature functions as possible. That's it. There's nothing else to the story, bro. Anything else is complete noise. It's noise. It's not real. It's not nothing. It's not even there. Anyways, I was talking about how YouTube is broken down and how society is becoming, it's like weird. The propagandas work. They're pushing so much propaganda, negative propaganda, to separate us and cause all these divisions. So I think there has to be less identity with everything, You know what's right for you on a soul level. That's it. If you're a man, you're a man. You don't need to go around like, you don't have to advertise it. You're a man anyway. It's just natural. It's your energy. You can't be a man. I don't know how to say it. You can't. I don't know how to explain it. Like, all this stuff between men and women, it's a joke. It's literally a joke. It's literally a big comedy show. This whole thing with Gaza, all of that, they're all big jokes, man. There's interference on some level. And this is on the 3D level, because I think there are conscious people that are literally raising the vibration of the place, and the place is trying to now the place has to double down. The screen has to double down in order for it to counteract the energy shift. And that's why they push out so much crazy shit. Like, I've seen the wildest stuff on YouTube. I saw a guy that was advocating for or something like this. Like, he had a sign and everything. I've seen, like, and it's like random crime videos and random, kind of like very on the line sexual content on YouTube. All this trans stuff. And like they're having arguments, they're having big old debates and stuff like this. It's like, it doesn't even need to be spoken about. It doesn't even need to be spoken about, because that's it. It's not, do you know what I mean? Like, why is it so important to the system to talk about like sex all the time? Do you see? So once you start to look at the system from that point of view, and YouTube from that point of view, you realize that YouTube is a programming tool. YouTube is just programming you. It's programming you. Old YouTube is not the new YouTube. And also another thing about YouTube. YouTube is part of the system so much that it's actually employing people, and people don't know that they're employed by YouTube. Like, you're employed by the system. You work for, then your job is to create stuff on there for people to watch. People think that, and that's why they entice people with people became millionaires and stuff. Bro, it's guys, this stuff goes deep, man. People think that, and then maybe one day I'm going to blow and I'm going to have 1 million views, because it's the same okie doke they hit you with the lottery. It's the same thing. Yes, you can glitch the algorithm in such a way that you can make it work for you on YouTube, and you can make money. Yes, on the 3D level. Yes, I agree. It's facts. Just like how you can play the lottery on some level to win. But what I'm trying to say is that don't fail to see what it is. You understand? So it's now like, it's like the new grind, it's a new hustle. People are on there, and and it's like, don't you find it funny that like some YouTube videos, the turnaround, how they're able to, the video quality and everything, it's almost kind of like machine-esque. Like, there's got to be a big machine behind it, the editing and everything. And if you think about it, from the time that's made, bosh, and put out, it's almost robotic speed. You know, if you look at that stuff, you connect the dots, you see what it is. You understand? And this on the 3D level. So a lot of the content that's on there, I don't know if it's actual humans degenerating, or I don't know if it's the system pushing out propaganda to convince humans to now project that reality and create that on the screen of space, and have it all around us. I don't know. I felt like this Christmas, for all the shitty Christmases that have happened since lockdown, I felt like this one was actually half decent, even though a lot of people actually just spend it by themselves or with it. It's going back to what it's supposed to be. You know, whereas before it would be this weird affair that you had to like invite all these people and do all this stuff. It's like people are starting to see that some of this stuff is actually unnecessary and stripping back in some ways, and it's becoming more wholesome again. Maybe just my experience, but I don't celebrate anyway. But that's the vibe I've gotten from people that I've overheard or spoken to. So yeah, so it's either one of those things. But the point is that the vibration of the place is changing. It's changing, and there's big interference. So those of you that understand what I'm saying, you know, push it out, man. Push out the reality. You guys are the ones. Like, you are your ancestors anyway. And by me saying you're your ancestors, you are the spark itself anyway. So there's nothing that can stop you. You know, your first ancestors, the spark of consciousness. And we all have, listen, this is actually like a crazy download. All human beings are related. We're all connected because we're all alive. You know, and we're all related to that conscious spark of life. You know, as human, we're all related to that spark because we all came from that one point. Do you understand? Or 2 points, masculine and feminine. We all came from those 2 points. So we're related. And it would have come from one point and that singular point. So we're all related. There's no point us actually being like angry. Like, just, we have to be more logical, you know, and embrace the game for what it is. You know, look at the animals. They live in the present moment. They embrace life and take it as is. And it's like, you can't go on this conscious journey if you're not logical and rational, because if you're operating in emotion, you're operating from a lower vibration. You need to get to the point where it's like, it's not worth it, man. It's not worth being angry at people. For what? Yeah, people can annoy you and stuff like that. Okay, cool. Just doesn't matter. Just have to let it go. You know, if you engage, that's when it actually becomes a thing. And you're engaging, like I said in one of my videos, I can't remember which one, but I said, if you engage with the reality and you give it emotion, it's like you're meeting someone in the Matrix world, yeah, and having a big old row with them over some stupid shit. Like, imagine Neo's now, all right, cool, let's go into the Matrix, right? So you've been plugged in, you've gone into Matrix world, and someone steps on your shoes, right? Remember, everybody in the Matrix world is human, but they're just NPC, they're asleep. Right? So this guy steps on your shoe and there's a big out, you're gonna, what the fuck? And you're gonna get into it with that energy, right? He's asleep, bro. He doesn't know what he's doing. He just knows that that's how he has to respond, yeah? You are Neo. You know more. Because you have been plugged in, you are aware that this is a reality and there is another reality where you actually live. And you should be in that conscious state. So when you're in that conscious state, yeah, and someone steps on your shoes, that's cool, man, whatever, man, cool. All right, you win, bro. Because you know more. You should not be interacting with the screen whatsoever. Like, you have to reject it completely. Reject it. You just have to reject the system. You have to reject the system on all levels. Honestly, everyone needs to cut off social media, man. Like, social media is the dumbest thing ever, man. Like, we literally gotta cut it off. It's literally stupid. We have to cut it out. If we're not using it to share valuable information between, say, relatives or something like that, it shouldn't even, but now we have WhatsApp, you know? There was a time I grew up in a world where like we used to have pen pals. We used to write letters to friends. I had a pen pal in the States, I think, and another one in Sweden. You know, we used to write each other letters. Yeah. And it all added to it. It's like you wrote, it's like, but now people just, look, we have been simplified to a point where it's nuts. Can you imagine that, you know, someone born in the 80s that has written letters, has been aware of all of that shit, right? Coming to a world where now we're texting one-liners, two-liners, like, okay, instant communication. For what? Why do we need to talk all the time? We don't. We really don't. Because if I've decided to move away from my family and go and live in Canada, I did that. I've moved. You know, we don't need to talk every motherfucking day. Okay? So if in that case, we're not going to use letters and stuff, maybe like a something so I can post pictures every so often and write some sort of like, give you guys an update or a video or whatever it is. Yeah, because that's the world we live in now. And that should be as far as it goes. You don't need to know about what any celebrity is doing. They're employees, they're paid by the system. They're employees, they work for the system, they work for the screen. They're paid to do certain things. They're paid to move a certain way. They're paid to wear certain things. They're paid to like go certain places. That's their job. Don't you get it? It's their job. It's their job to give you an idea of what it's like. It's a job. It's a job. It's your job to entertain you, man. You understand? So the first thing we need to do is come away from social media completely. You know. I think YouTube is beneficial, but I think even YouTube, it has to get to a point where we don't even, like, I don't care about any kind of, you know, come and follow me and share. I don't care. Like, those that need to hear this message will hear this message. That's what I charge my videos with. Everybody that needs to hear it will hear it. Those that have to hear it will hear it. Those that have to understand it will understand it. Even if it takes a year or it's 5 years down the line, then so be it. You know, there's no ego involved. I'm actually talking to myself when you think about it from a conscious standpoint. I'm literally talking to myself. I'm talking into a phone. I'm speaking to myself. Because sometimes the thoughts are so much in my mind, especially when, you know, because you start to recognize what you are. And as you start to recognize who and what you are, it floods your mind. It's like, woo, all this information is like, all the time, right? And then for me, it's like, okay, whilst that's happening, I might as well just put it down in some format that I can revisit. I listen to my videos all the time. I come back to it oh shit, like, because sometimes I freestyle this stuff, and sometimes I want to come back and actually pick up something that, you know, or be clear on certain things or whatever. And I myself, I come back and I'm like, okay, cool. So that's what it is. So the point I'm trying to make is, like, we have to go back to using things for its proper use. And even if you recognize, like, you know, there's a lot of like information about, you know, men undergoing retention, and, you know, going on all the, like, even women are doing the same, like, because I'm always on YouTube. I see these videos pop up and stuff like that. It's almost like we're getting back to the point where we're supposed to be, right? But whilst that's happening, the system is basically trying to say, no, you hate each other. Nah, look what this woman did to this guy. Look what this guy did. No, you're black and he's white. No, come on. And the system's literally forcing it. It's trying to convince us that that's what's happening on the wider scale. But I think that with the shift that's happening, people are evolving. People are recognizing that even sex, like casual sex, with random people and stuff like that, is stupid. It's actually so low vibrational and so disgusting, it's unreal. Like, because you start to recognize that, oh yuck, because you start to see what you are. And once you see who and what you are, you just don't want to go and mix your energy with anybody or touch any person. Like, you change, you literally change. So if that energy is being vibrated or echoed on the higher frequencies, right? And we're shifting onto that level, then that's exactly what's going to happen. But then The system now tries to bombard us, and that's when the music is getting even more, it's even becoming even more degenerate. Do you see what I'm trying to say? So that's where it leads me. So I've come back full circle. It's got to be two routes. It's either they're convincing us, so we project onto the screen of space due to the interference that's happening, or this is what we're actually doing, or some elements are doing, and it's being broadcasted. So consciousness projects onto the screen. If people believe that it's people that's doing it, you also got to recognize that there is no such thing as quote unquote people. They just unawakened consciousness. So unawakened consciousness behaves a certain way, and they can be programmed because, again, they are plugged into the hive mind. Do you see? So if they're projecting that, it still ties in with the points I've raised about the interference. So if there's interference, right, and the place is glitching, what else can the system use to try and tip the scales? People, like quote unquote, the unawakened ones. So that's what would happen. So it's a double-edged sword of what's happening. So you're being programmed, basically, is what I'm trying to say. So you just have to step outside of it, recognize who and what you are, and the rest will fall into place.